Rule 24. Towing and pushing. A power-driven vessel when towing astern shall exhibit, instead of the lights prescribed in either Rule 23A1 or 23A2, two masthead lights in a vertical line. When the length of the tow, measuring from the stern of the towing vessel to the after end of the tow, exceeds 200 meters, three such lights in a vertical line. Side lights, a stern light, a towing light in a vertical line above the stern light, and when the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, a diamond shape where it can best be seen. I'm reading the inland side. We're on page 49. Continued. When a pushing vessel and a vessel being pushed ahead are rigidly connected in a composite unit, they shall be regarded as a power-driven vessel and exhibit the lights prescribed in Rule 23. C. A power-driven vessel when pushing ahead or towing alongside, except as required by paragraphs B and 1 of this rule, shall exhibit, instead of the lights prescribed either in 23A1 or 23A2, two masthead lights in a vertical line, side lights, and two towing lights in a vertical line. A power-driven vessel to which paragraphs A or C of this rule applies shall comply with Rule 23A1 and 23A2. Page 53. A vessel or object other than those referred to in paragraph G of this rule being towed shall exhibit side lights, a stern light, and, when the length of the tow exceeds 200 meters, a diamond shape where it can best be seen. Provided that any number of vessels being towed alongside or pushed in a group shall be lighted as one vessel, except as provided in paragraph F3 of this rule. A vessel being pushed ahead, not being part of a composite unit, shall exhibit at the forward end side lights and a special flashing light. A vessel being towed alongside shall exhibit a stern light and at the forward end side lights and a special flashing light. When vessels are towed alongside on both sides of the towing vessel, a stern light shall be exhibited on the stern of the outboard vessel on each side of the towing vessel, and a single set of side lights as far forward and as far outboard as is practicable, and a single special flashing light. Rule 24 continued. An inconspicuous, partly submerged vessel or object, or a combination of such vessels or objects being towed shall exhibit, if it's less than 25 meters in breadth, one all-around white light at or near each end. If it is 25 meters or more in breadth, four all-around white lights to mark its length and breadth. If it exceeds 100 meters in length, additional all-around white lights between the lights prescribed in paragraph G, 1, and 2 of this rule, so that the distance between the lights shall not exceed 100 meters. Provided that any vessels or objects being towed alongside each other shall be lighted as one vessel or object. A diamond shape at or near the aftermost extremity of the last vessel or object being towed, and the towing vessel may direct a searchlight in the direction of the tow to indicate its presence to the approaching vessel. Where from any sufficient cause, it is impracticable for a vessel or object being towed to exhibit the lights or shapes prescribed in paragraph E or G of this rule, all possible measures shall be taken to light the vessel or object towed, or at least to indicate the presence of such a vessel or object. Where from any sufficient cause it is impracticable for a vessel not normally engaged in towing operations to display the lights prescribed by paragraph A, C, or J of this rule, such vessel shall not be required to exhibit those lights when engaged in towing another vessel in distress or otherwise in need of assistance. All possible measures shall be taken to indicate the nature of the relationship between the towing vessel and the vessel being assisted. The searchlight, authorized in Rule 26, may be used to illuminate the tow. Rule 24 continued. Notwithstanding paragraph C of this rule, on western rivers, except below the Huey P. Long Bridge at mile 106.1, above head of passes on the Mississippi River, and in waters specified by the Secretary, a power-driven vessel when pushing ahead or towing alongside, except as paragraph B of this rule applies, shall exhibit side lights and two towing lights in a vertical line. Let's go back to the beginning here and look at all the parts of Rule 24 on the board. So to remember how many masthead lights in a row and the lengths, we say 2 in a row, a tug and a tow, 3 in a row, a tug and a long tow, 4 in a row, long tug, long tow. So let's lay this out. 2 in a row. 3 in a row, and 4 in a row. So 2 in a row is just a tug and a tow. So we have 2 in a row, a tug and a tow. Those are referring to masthead lights. And then our towing light back here, yellow over white, towing astern at night. And now we get side lights, red port, green starboard, and then this is a vessel being towed, and it gets side lights, red port, green starboard, and a stern light. And then let's look at the distances. So 2 in a row, a tug and a tow, we have a tug less than 50 meters and a tow that is less than 200 meters. Now when we step up to 3 in a row, we're doing a tug and a long tow. So here's our tug, and then we have a long tow. So how long is a long tow? It's going to be greater than 200 meters. And it's going to get a diamond shape where it can best be seen. And the tug, again, is less than 50 meters. And it gets 2 in a row, 2 masthead lights, no, 3 in a row. So a tug and a long tow, if it's over 200 meters, 3 in a row. And then in the back, what do we get? Yellow over white, towing astern at night. And then we get side lights, red port, green starboard side lights, and the vessel being towed, red port side light, green starboard side light, a white stern light. Because it's greater than 200 meters, a diamond shape where it can best be seen. Now, 4 in a row, long tug, long tow. We say long tug, it's going to be over 50 meters, so we need a second masthead light abaft of and higher than the forward 3. So a long tug, we got a longer tug, and a long tow. So the tug is greater than 50 meters, and the tow from the stern of the towing vessel to the after end of the tow greater than 200 meters. And it'll get 3 in a row because it's got a long tow, and then it'll get a second masthead light abaft of and higher than the forward 3, so it'll have 4 in a row. So when that guy's coming right at you, here's the water, here's our tug, he's gonna have in the forward 3 in a row, and then behind that and higher will be his 4th one. And then he'll get what lights in the back? Yellow over white, towing astern at night. And then he'll get side lights, red port, green starboard, and then the vessel being towed, it's greater than 200 meters, so what day shape? Diamond shape, where it can best be seen. And he'll get side lights and a stern light, red port, green starboard, and a white stern light. 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 2 in a row, a tug and a tow, 3 in a row, a tug, and a long tow over 200 meters, get the diamond. 4 in a row, long tug, so the tug's over 50, you get a second masthead light abaft of and higher than the forward 3, and a long tow, over 200 meters. The next part of the rule says that a vessel pushing ahead and a vessel being pushed ahead that are rigidly connected in a composite unit shall be regarded as a power-driven vessel, and show the lights for a power-driven vessel. So there's tugs and tows, they're always getting pushed ahead or towed alongside, but some of them are made for each other. And they have this big notch in it, right? Lots of barges have notches, but they're not all connected like this. This is called a ATB, an articulated tug barge, and they'll have essentially rams that go out and connect to the barge. And then they're considered to be rigidly connected in a composite unit, and they're regarded as a power-driven vessel. So if you come across questions that say, a vessel pushing ahead and rigidly connected as a composite unit shall show which lights? The answer might be the lights of a power-driven vessel not towing. That's the second part of this rule. And then we get into this section of the rules. It's pushing ahead or towing alongside. And this is where there's the most differences between inland and international. I read the inland side, but this is where the most differences come in. So we are pushing ahead or towing alongside. Let's take a look at these differences. They're different international and inland. So we're just gonna do both sides, inland and international. As you read the rules, they get kind of wordy. So it's nice to lay it out on the board and actually see the lights and where they are. We have pushing ahead. So here's our barge. We are pushing it ahead. Or we're alongside. Here's our barge, and we're alongside this barge. Now, let's start with the big differences. Right back here. So 2 in a row, tug and a tow. Let's start there. 2 in a row, tug and a tow. Those are masthead lights. We get them in both cases. And then we get yellow over yellow. I'm a pushing fellow. At night, only inland. Yellow over yellow. I'm a pushing fellow. We'll get a stern light over here. It's white. And now we light this barge up with our side lights. Red port, green starboard. Red port, green starboard. And when we're inland, we get one more light. We get a special flashing light in the bow. Side lights on the tug. Red port, green starboard. Red port, green starboard. White stern light here, but not here. We don't want it shining in our eyes. The international side, international, it just turns these yellows to whites and gets rid of the special flashing light. So if we draw it out, here's our barge. We are pushing it ahead. Here's our barge, and we are towing it alongside. We get 2 in a row for a tug and a tow on both vessels. And then we go to our stern light. It's just a white stern light. It simplifies it. White stern light here. And we get red and green. We get our side lights on the vessel being towed. We get our side lights here. Red and green. Red and green. And this is international pushing ahead. So 2 in a row, a tug and a tow, yellow over yellow, I'm a pushing fellow inland. Side lights and a special flashing light. Same here, except we get this. Then international, no yellows, just white stern lights and no special flashing light. Let's keep cruising to inconspicuous or partly submerged. Vessels or objects being towed. So it says that if it's less than 25 meters wide, we get just a light on either side. So less than 25 meters. Say one white light at each end. Mark its length. If it's greater than 25 meters wide, we have to mark its length, and we need to mark its breadth, its width. And then it says, provided that it's multiple objects, it's lighted as one object. So if this was like 4 small barges, they're all lashed together. And now we're looking at greater than 25 wide and greater than 100 meters long. So if it's greater than 25 meters wide and greater than 100 meters, we mark its length, and then we mark its breadth, but there's never more than 100 meters in between lights. So there'll never be more than 100 meters in between lights with the breadth or the length. Never more than 100. And we also get a day shape, a diamond shape where it can best be seen. And provided that it's multiple objects, it's all lighted as one object. And then they say, you may shine a searchlight in the direction of this toe to indicate its presence or the relationship between the two. So remember, searchlight. There's a last piece to this rule that says, where from any sufficient cause it is impracticable for a vessel not normally engaged in towing operations to display the lights prescribed in paragraph A, C, or J of this rule, such vessel shall not be required to exhibit those lights when engaged in towing another vessel in distress or otherwise in need of assistance. All possible measures shall be taken to indicate the nature of the relationship between the towing vessel and the vessel being assisted. The searchlight authorized in Rule 36 may be used to illuminate the tow. So if you see a vessel in distress and you go and take it into tow and help them, you're not obliged to exhibit these lights, right? If it's not practicable to do so. So if you don't have these 2 masthead lights in a row and all the different towing lights, you don't need to have them on. Excellent. Now we are going to move on to Rule 25 for sailing vessels and vessels under oars.